I want to talk about a little tip that will massively help to improve your photography. It's mainly aimed at landscape photography, however, it can be used in all sorts of areas of photography. It's not strictly limited to landscape. It's something that is quite often overlooked and maybe not even thought about at all, but it genuinely has the power to change your photos for the better. It's a composition tip, but not in the usual way that you might think about composition. And on my recent trip to Castleton to take some photos in the Peak District, I really tried to focus on this technique. And what it is to focus on the smaller things. So for example, a lot of landscape photographers will typically just focus their attention on the scene around them and try and isolate a part of the landscape or the scenery to try and create a great landscape photograph using light and textures and things like that, and avoid any distractions such as people or buildings, telegraph poles. What I was trying to do this time is focus on those distractions. Does that make sense? I was trying to look at those distractions and make them part of the image. So for example, I have this photo here. It's looking out across the rolling hills of the Peak District, not far from Castleton. And at first glance, it literally is just that. There's not a lot happening in the sky. There's no interesting clouds. There's no light being thrown across the mountains in a nice way with shadows. It's just very flat. However, when you look closely, there's a person here walking across the ridge of the hill in a bright red coat that is contrasting the whole scene. And that is what made me take this photograph. And that is the sort of thing I'm talking about when I say about including distractions in the photo. I love this photo because, as I said, it really doesn't look anything special until you see that person there that is popping out in the bright red coat. And it just helps to show a sense of scale in the image because that person looks tiny. And it's the same with the sheep down here. So for example, if I was to get rid of this person, I'm just very quickly gonna roughly clone them out in Lightroom. If I get rid of the sheep as well, that image then, it just really doesn't do anything for me. It just looks flat. There's no nice light. There's nothing special about that image. However, you add in these little sheep and the person on the hill, and it just helps to show a sense of scale, and it adds a story to the image as well, because you could be asking questions about that person, like why is that person on their own? Where are they going? How long have they been walking? Where have they come from? That is what draws your attention to the image rather than the actual image of the landscape. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's the sort of thing I like to look at in my photography. I like to try and make the viewer of the image ask questions and create stories in their own head as to around what could be going on. But if this person wasn't there, that wouldn't be possible. And arguably, if they were in a different coloured coat, maybe it was just a green coat that blended in with the environment, it wouldn't be the same. Hi, future editing Scott here. I thought I would just jump in whilst I am mid-edit, while I'm editing in DaVinci for the first time, which is interesting. Might make a video about that very soon because I do quite like it. Never used it before, but it's going well. Although I am very slow at the moment, but that's for another video. I thought I would just jump in and mention that this photo that I've just been talking about is actually now available as a print on my website. So you can head there with the link in the description down below, and there is also a 20% end of summer sale on everything on my store, whether that's prints or Lightroom presets, you name it. Just use the code autumn20 and yeah, go and have a look, let me know what you think. Back to the video. The light on the mountain here was just hitting the top of the ridge, but again, it's nothing too special until you realise you can see all these little people walking up and down the mountain. If those people weren't there, I'll just get rid of a few of them. It just doesn't do anything for me. It's not a very interesting photograph, but you add in those people, that is what is helping draw your attention to the photo. It's not the fact that there's anything special going on with the composition or the light. It's just the fact that you can see some tiny little people in the distance and you're thinking, where are they off to? Where are they walking? What hill is that? Just makes you ask questions about the photo. And that's the sort of photography that I like. And I think trying to look out for things in your photography when there's nothing special going on with the light. Maybe you're out in the middle of the day when it's harsh sunlight or just flat white cloud like it was on this day. If there's nothing special going on with the light, Try looking out for different things when you are out taking your photos, like little people in the distance. I just spotted this van out in the distance that was parked perfectly between these two trees. That is the thing that is helping to show scale in this photo. Again, it was the same day, so there's nothing special going on with the light, but you can still get really nice photos when you're out shooting on those days. But if that van wasn't there, it's nothing special. That van is the focal point of the photo, and that is what is drawing your eye to this photo. And you're thinking, what is that van doing there? Why is it there? Where are they? And here's a final example as well. Again, got this motorbiker here riding down the road, and it just looks like a long winding road. We've got the two sheep in the foreground as well. But if we were to get rid of that motorbiker, I've already got rid of a couple of distractions here, but if we were to get rid of him, there's just not a lot going on in that photo. But you could be asking yourself, who's that motorbiker? Where's he going? Where does that road lead to? And it just draws your attention into that photo. And one final example is this one that is pretty much exactly the same, but with a cyclist. Instantly your attention is drawn to how big that road is. Where does it go when it goes off screen here? He's riding up here. Where is he going? How long has he been riding for? And it just makes you ask stories and ask questions about the photo. And again, that's what I'm interested in my photos. And if you have a day like that where there's nothing special going on with the actual landscape in terms of the lighting, looking out for little things in your photos like that can really help add something special to your photographs and make them into something that they wouldn't be without them. But it doesn't always have to be small things either. It could be things that are more obvious. So for example here, on first glance, this photo doesn't look anything special. It's just a couple of cars parked up and a couple of houses. Then you look closely and you read this sign and it says no parking please, but yet there are two cars parked up. That then makes you ask questions about that photo. That's what I mean when I say including distractions. Make you ask questions about the photos. One more as an example is this one, and this then is making you ask, what's this barn? Why is there an overturned bath in front of all this nice scenery where we've got nice rolling hills and a big telegraph pole? On days like this, like I mentioned before, where there's nothing special going on with the lighting, looking out for things like this, like distractions, is a nice way to shoot some really nice photographs, because on first glance that doesn't look like anything, but then you look closer, you're thinking, what is that doing there? Why is there an overturned bath in the middle of a field in the middle of the Peak District? So yeah, give it a go. It's not for everyone. Again, it might just look weird to some people, but I like that sort of photograph. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Go and give it a go, and I shall see you very soon in the next video.